On this episode, we share some of our favorite Walt Disney World facts. Today is April 16th, 2024, and this is episode 659 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. You can also find us on TikTok at MSM Podcast. And then if you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you did not get the dining reservations that you wanted so badly, don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Then if you don't have that trip booked to Disney Park, maybe Universal, going on a cruise, or you just want to travel anywhere in the world, you should head out to mainstmagic.travel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. And then finally, Main Street 16 is coming. It is next week at this point.
Wow.
By the time this episode comes out. So we are super excited. You can get all the details at mainstreet16.com. We do still have the donation link up if you just want to donate. We are have a couple days left on the raffle to win a 2-night stay for up to 4 in a very magical deluxe resort villa.
Ooh.
And we still got tickets for the trivia event on Friday. So check it all out at mainstreet16.com. So today will be kind of a fun one. We went out and started looking at like Disney World facts and trivia and just fun things. And some of this was to get prepared for the trivia contest because one of the trivia categories will be parks.
Ooh.
So Walt Disney World parks. So we'll have some trivia on those. But these are kind of just fun facts. And
So none of these will be on?
no, these will not.
Okay.
These I'll make sure that these aren't parks because then people could study pretty much. But yeah, so these will be just kind of fun facts. We went through a whole bunch and picked out some of the ones that we loved the most. And we'll kind of chat about them, give you some little details, and yeah, a little trivia on these. So, Rhonda, what is well, these aren't in any order, but what is our first one, I should say?
Okay. Walt Disney World employs more people than every other Disney park combined.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
That's insane.
To think. So you're talking about Disneyland Resort over in California, right? You're talking about Disneyland Paris, Tokyo Disney Resort, Hong Kong Disneyland Resort, and Shanghai Disney Resort. Disney World employs over 77,000 people. All of those combined come out more around 65, 70,000 or so people. So
Wow.
Disney World has all those parks beat. It's one of the largest employers, I believe, in the U.S. as well. So that's nuts. That's a lot of cast members.
That is.
But when you think about the size of Walt Disney
Yeah.
World compared to all the other parks and what it takes, I mean, the resorts alone, and we have a crazy like resort fact later on in the list.
Well,
and
the amount of cast members of what down to, just maintenance people to all the way up to an Imagineer. Mm-hmm. To even probably higher than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, when you say something like maintenance, you think of the amount of parks, the amount of rides, the amount of resorts. Again, like that takes a little. It'd be so interesting to see it all broken down.
Yeah.
In categories of
of how many. Yeah.
And I wonder what the percentage of is on stage versus off stage cast members.
Right.
Would be super interesting.
Housekeeping,
Right.
all of trash.
those.
Well, that was not called trash. I apologize. They are called custodials, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Like all those,
I know.
and then I think the neatest part is when you do see them just custodials in the parks, and then they have the wet, like broom.
Oh yeah.
And then they draw
the water pictures.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. No detail is left forgotten when you come down to Disney World cast members.
It's amazing.
What is our second one? And this one I think a lot of people know, but maybe they don't know the reasoning.
Yeah, so no structure at Disney World stands taller than 200 feet. The reason why is because if they do, you have to have
the aviation lights. Yeah, you have to put lights on them.
Yeah.
And it's going to ruin the magic if you've got a big blinking red light at the top of Cinderella Castle.
That's right.
So, and what's cool, so that's at 200 feet. So Tower of Terror stands at 199 feet tall.
Yes.
Everest stands at 199 feet tall.
I did not know that Everest and Tower were
the same height. So 1 foot short of having to put a light on them.
1 foot. That's not much.
Cinderella Castle stands at 198.
89.
I'm sorry, 189. Yep. And then, shockingly, Spaceship Earth is taller than I thought at 180 feet. I actually thought it was going to be...
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think I realized that it's like, I guess it's the scope of the way, that you look at Cinderella Castle, which of course looks so much taller because of the forced perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're making it look so much taller than it is, whereas Spaceship Earth, there's no forced perspective. It's that size, and it's all in,
Cinderella Castle being almost 190 feet. That's, woo-wee. I guess Tinkerbell's not scared of heights.
I know.
Because she's pretty much flying almost
she's 100. I bet she's 170
for
feet.
Sure, if not even more than that.
Yeah. And then, in Cinderella Castle, this isn't part of our regular kind of factual stuff, is all fiberglass. None of that is actual like concrete or stone. I remember that on our Keys to the Kingdom. They remember the cast member said,
I don't remember that, but
everybody guess how many stones or how many bricks or something were used to build Cinderella Castle. And I said 0. And she was like, you're correct, because it's all fiberglass. None of those are brick or stone, because it's made to withstand, I believe, up to 125, 130 mile per hour winds due to hurricanes.
Right. So fiberglass stands better.
Yeah, it's all solid. It's large solid pieces that are put in together or formed.
That's
so
amazing.
So no actual stone or rock is used in there.
Huh.
What about number 3?
Admission used to cost the same price as a bottle of water does today.
Yeah,
what's your bottle of water?
That's everything.
$5.50?
$3.50 to $4 for a Dasani bottle. So park entrance in 1971 when Magic Kingdom opened was $3.50.
But you had to pay for
ticket books.
Yes. Okay.
So my parents have some of those from 1974, I believe, is when they got
It's amazing.
Married. So because this will be their 50th is this year. In June.
Wow.
So yeah, but that's crazy to think, but that's everything in life. Go back how much 100%. Was probably a ticket to get into a football game or a baseball game, and we could go back and pull all that. But
you and I now even can say we've been driving long enough to remember when gas was super low,
under $1,
right?
98 cents.
Yeah,
so
and now it's
right, but
$3.50 or almost.
With the average cost of inflation, if you just went with average cost of inflation since 1971, then a ticket would cost $21, I believe it is.
Are you serious?
So we're in the 130s, 40s, 50s, 60 ranges now. So it doesn't keep up with the cost of inflation. But again, you could probably look at most entertainment.
Well, and then would you have to take in a fact of the ticket books?
Yeah, well, that's what would be interesting is actually go back and maybe that'll be a whole other like history style episode, which would actually be a lot of fun. We're up because we've done them every 2 years. We're up to do I believe in June, our Cost of a Vacation 2024 edition. If you go back, we did one in 2020 and 2022. Where we took some of very popular vacation destinations throughout the U.S. and compared their costs and how they add up to a Disney vacation, a Universal vacation. So it'd be interesting something like this. If you went back, what was the average cost of a guest to go in 1971 with ticket books and admission price and all of that? Look at food prices. When you see some of the old hotel prices, it's nuts. You look at the Contemporary from 1971 and it's insane. So that would be actually a fun episode.
Yeah. Maybe
to do around our cost of a vacation episode. All right. Number 4. I think everybody knows this, but we've gotten to visit them.
Yes. This is super cool. There is an entire tunnel system under Magic Kingdom.
The Utilidors.
That is correct. We are in Florida. Those of you that don't know, you cannot dig down. You can't have basements. You will hit water. So when you walk into Magic Kingdom, you are actually walking into the 2nd floor. So under Magic Kingdom, the entire tunnel system is considered the 1st floor. So boom, mind blown.
Nuts. It's crazy, and we got to go down there with the Keys to the Kingdom tour.
It's crazy because there's no windows and no doors.
I know.
Well,
yeah. So
doors.
So when building this, they dredged all those lakes to build those lakes, and had to build up all of that dirt and make their own solid land and build it up an entire story, basically.
Also sat for 18 months.
Yeah, I think it sat for 18 months to let everything settle.
To make
before
sure.
they could start building on top of it. So, like, for example, the trash system is all hooked to this. So they pull the trash from underneath the trash cans into the utilidor system so that you don't have to have cast members walking around with giant trash cans pulling trash out in front of you, like all of the other parks, for example. Which is super cool. It's the reason that you will not see a costumed Adventureland cast member walking through Tomorrowland.
That's true.
They will go underneath the utilidors. They all have systems to get them up into that individual land. It was all part of just that original Walt's vision, of creating this immersive place. It's the same reason that the parking lot is so far away.
Correct.
Because Walt didn't want you to stand at the entrance or be inside Magic Kingdom and see a parking lot.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody hates driving to Magic Kingdom. But hey, it stuck with Walt's vision, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Let's go to our fifth little fun fact. I think this one's just cool. And this is really when you're walking down Main Street specifically, I feel
right.
like.
And this is also how we found out from Keys of the Kingdom that the American flags at Disney World are fake.
Yeah, like most of them are.
Because if they were real, you would have to pull them down every single night.
Yep. Or fly at half mast if there
Correct.
was, determined by the government and all for a tragedy or whatever, or to observe something. So they don't have to use normal flag etiquette.
Yep.
Because they're irregular.
Yep.
So, for example, they won't have all the stars or all the stripes.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't notice that just walking down Main Street and looking up at them.
Right.
And so they're considered pennants, not flags. And that's the reason they don't have to go to flag etiquette. Also, all of those poles that have those going down Main Street are lightning poles.
Yes.
So
if you ever wonder why when there's major storms and lightning and thunder that they are not making you run
cover.
away is because they have multiple throughout every single park. Main reason I know this is because I'm sure I've said it before, but unfortunately I have known somebody who has been struck by lightning and then unfortunately passed away years later. So I freak out.
We still run for cover.
Yes, but I freak out. And when my kids used to, I knew that there were these lightning poles that I was like, it's okay. Like, listen, Disney would make us leave, but it's going to get this before us. So.
Yeah. And it's going to be a torrential downpour most of the time anyway. So you don't want to just be standing out twirling. Maybe you do. I've seen plenty of that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our sixth little fun fact about Walt Disney World.
It would take decades to stay in all guest rooms at Disney World.
Yeah, there's over 36,000 individual guest rooms at Walt Disney World on Disney-owned properties. Again, just imagine what Central Florida looks like in general.
Yeah.
Is nuts. So if you stayed literally every single night, you're able to stay in one guest room every single night, it would take almost 100 years.
Wow.
So
could you imagine?
You have to get, as soon as you're a baby.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, as soon as you're a baby, you got to get on that.
You got to be born in one.
Yeah, you got to be born in one. You could go back. If you wanted to start the count, conceived in one, and then just have your mother would visit all throughout, you'd at least get 9 months ahead. You could finish this in under, I think it came out to like 98.3 years or something.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
That's nuts. That's an absurd amount of rooms.
Yeah.
You could technically, if you count the villas and resorts, separate from each other, then, even if you stayed every single night at a different resort, you're at almost a month.
Yeah.
Of just that, because there's so many.
God, could you imagine them moving every single night?
No.
I couldn't either.
We've got a split stay coming up between Saratoga and Poly for Main Street 16 weekend. But I feel like we haven't done a split stay in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as you get older, but this will be a nicer. Usually our split stays have been like 1 and 1.
Right.
We literally have stayed a night at Universal and then moved to Disney for a night, or maybe 2 nights somewhere and then 1 night somewhere. Mm-hmm. This will be 3 nights and 2 nights, which will be a nice split stay.
Weird for me.
For us. This will also be at 5 nights will be our longest Walt Disney World single visit since August of 2019 when Galaxy's Edge opened. And we did 9 nights.
And we were supposed to be in California. Yeah. That is why we had so much time.
Well, no, a big thing happened is we originally had a week there. And remember, a hurricane was coming through. And we added 3 nights. I think we had your parents watching the girls during the week when they were in school. Mm-hmm. Your parents were at our house. And then my parents were going to come down and watch them for the next couple nights. And so I had to go. My parents decided not to come because of potential hurricane. And so I had to go. I picked the girls up, 2 hours home, 2 hours back to Orlando. And I picked them up on a Friday. I took them out a half day. And then they stayed with us, I think, Friday and Saturday night. And then the hurricane was really supposed to come, and they had already closed school. So we added 3 nights and moved to Coronado from, we were in, I believe, a royal room over at Riverside for the first 6 nights.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, then we moved 3 nights over to Coronado and rode out the hurricane there. And it ended up being a 9-night stay.
Oh, that's all right.
Can you even imagine that now? I don't even know how we got away with that. Like, how did we even accomplish it? I guess your work was closed probably.
Idea.
Like, yeah. Because I remember we had to go and do laundry at Coronado.
Yeah, I probably had to move clients. Yeah. I have no idea.
But that was, so 9 nights. So 5 nights, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. All right, let's move on to number 7. And you can listen up, you fashionistas.
I just started to say.
You got nothing on this.
He has nothing. I have nothing on him. Mickey Mouse has more outfits than probably anybody, I feel like.
I know. Over 135 different outfits for Mickey Mouse.
I mean, I know I don't have that many. Yeah. I wonder what celebrities do.
I'm sure you get into the fashion. But see, but here's the thing.
They just borrow them or something.
Right.
Mickey Mouse owns these.
Yeah, these are in his closet.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big closet.
Huge.
The shoes alone, think about how much space that would take.
Oh, that's a lot.
Because you probably got different shoes for most of these outfits. But yeah, even celebrities and fashion people, like you said, most of them are borrowed when they're going to fashion shows, they're going to red carpet events and all. And then even beyond that, most of them are going to probably wear something once.
Right.
And
Mickey
discard
Mouse
of it.
Wears them.
Right.
Breaks
them out for all the different things. But also, Disney's continually designing new outfits.
Correct.
Every year for Halloween and Christmas and different events. Like, so we just got to see the one of him as the band leader.
Yeah.
Right. For a special event that was created specifically for this event that was coming in.
We saw pictures.
Yeah.
We didn't see him.
We didn't see him, but we got to see some pictures.
It was super cool.
It was amazing.
It was.
All right. What about number 8? These are the stats that I just love. I don't know why. I think these are fun.
This is amazing. Over 1.65 million sunglasses have been lost in Disney World since it opened.
Yeah. 210 pairs a day.
That's crazy. Maybe I should go to a Lost and Found and be like, I lost my Disney sunglasses.
I can't even imagine what they would bring
My Ray-Ban Disney.
Right. Imagine of how many there are. I mean, and they have this incredible system. I mean, there's 6,000 cell phones a year.
That's crazy.
3,500 cameras. That's even crazier because your cell phones are cameras. This might be an older stat. But 18,000 hats.
I wonder how many ears.
Oh, I bet that's up there around the hats.
Yeah.
A big reason to say, hey, hold on to your hats, your sunglasses, some of those things, the wildest ride in the wilderness, for example. But I just think stats like that are so interesting. I'd be interested to know how many they return. If you're unaware, Disney has an incredible lost and found system.
They do.
I mean, the way that items move from parks to general locations, you can go online and fill out a form if you've lost something. It's one of those you really do want to, honestly, one of the tips is every morning is like take a photo of your family and of your kids, and just have it so you can describe them later if one of them turns up missing or, displaced or whatever. You may think you remember what little Jimmy was wearing that morning, but you're going to be frantic and
I just started to say when you literally, if you've lost them.
Yeah. But taking these photos in the morning can actually be used for multiple things. 1, if somebody goes missing, you can describe very quickly to a cast member, here's what they're wearing. 2, if something you own goes missing, you've got a bag, you've got sunglasses, a specific hat. It's that much easier to show to Lost and Found or provide that photo when you do the form. Say, look, here is the hat.
Right.
And then 3rd, when you realize that maybe one of your PhotoPass photos from a ride or from even the PhotoPass shots didn't show up, there's also a great online system that the more data you have, the easier it is for them to find your photo. If you're able to go in and say, yeah, this was on Sunday, April 14th. It was around like 10 to 11 a.m. And I know for a fact, because you don't realize maybe a day or two later, I know for a fact that Rhonda was wearing this purple shirt and black shorts, and I was wearing this red shirt and gray shorts. And it's that much easier for them to pinpoint it and find you when they're doing it, because I've had to do it before.
Oh.
And it's amazing what they can find and locate. So
that's super
really
cool.
good reason to do that as well. Otherwise, yeah, just make sure you stow your stuff. Remember when we lost that Yeti water bottle on Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin?
Yep.
And it fell. It just, we had it on the ground. It fell right out of the
bag,
or the system, because we used to keep them on the side of the book bag.
Yep.
And it fell out, and we did the form, and they
onto
didn't
the track.
find it. Onto the track.
So I thought, I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of there's all kinds of safety systems and sensors in place that if something literally fell on a track, it's going to and it was in harm's way of a Omnimover or a roller coaster, whatever it may be coming up, there's going to be sensors most likely that would detect it and shut down.
Or I feel like
prior
it would fall through. There's a hole or something, and so
and that's what I think.
I don't know where it goes or what, but we never got it.
We've had. I see a lot of people that do have luck, and it's pretty cool because sometimes again you get home and you go, oh no, my daughter, my son left this plush in the room, and they're devastated about it. And hopefully Disney will find it. They will mail it to you at no cost. They'll return it to you. And sometimes I've seen ones they go on a little trip. You might get some stickers or postcards in with it, or so pretty cool. All right, let's move on to our number 9.
Disney World Resort is home to the largest sand bottom pool in the world. And who can guess which that is?
Stormalong. We obviously knew that Stormalong Bay is the largest Disney pool on property.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best Disney pool on property. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have guessed that it's the largest sand bottom in the world. It's 750,000 gallon pool, and that is the largest in the world.
Wow,
it's pretty cool. I feel like Dubai for some reason would have one. What do they consider these? I guess these aren't all sand bottom. When you look at the beach walk that's up here near us that has this giant man-made lagoon.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be interested to see what Evermore is the newly opened giant resort with a lagoon, a man-made crystal clear lagoon. Huh. Now, again, I don't know if any of those are sand bottom or if they're just sand at the entrance and then they go to zero, kind of infinity into just concrete. But that's pretty cool.
It is.
All right, let's move on to number 10. This is one of those I feel like that you either know or you don't know, but then somebody says it and you go, oh, yeah. I've never seen that.
Yeah, and you cannot buy gum at Disney World.
Yeah.
So if you want something, you can buy mints.
Yes, you can.
You cannot buy gum. So if you are a gum chewer or need it, you have to bring it in with you.
Yeah.
But if you're going to, please be respectful. And this is the reason why they don't sell it.
Why is that, Rhonda? Why don't they sell it?
Because you should throw it away like any normal person, which is in the trash can.
Yep.
Do not spit it out. Do not put it
underneath the
railing on a
rock
ride.
And roller coaster. Because then somebody might lean against it, and then it'll get on their shirt, and it'll put gum all over their shirt.
Legitimately,
and ruin it.
Okay, it was so funny because I understand sometimes we'll just get on your shirt, but then you can just take it off, whatever. No, this was stringy, it
this
literally
was, if
got
you've not
everywhere.
Caught on, this was my shirt.
Yes,
waiting for Rock and Roller Coaster. I leaned against the railing. It was on the railing. Yeah, got all over my shirt, and I wasn't trying to complain or anything. We were just gonna try and get it out, move on our way, and I just went. So that somebody could clean it up and not happen to someone else.
Correct.
I just went to a cast member when we exited Rocket Roller Coaster. And I said, just to let you know, it was row 4. There's gum up underneath. I was like, look, I got it on my shirt. Just wanted you to know so that nobody else sticks in it. And they were like, go pick out whatever shirt you want. It's on us. It's like, wow. So, I got that Rock and Roller Coaster shirt that Kaylin eventually stole from me. But yeah, it was super cool, and I was just letting them know, and they provided that, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to number 11.
12% of Disney World is dedicated to greenery, which I love.
It's really cool. There's, 4,000 acres is taken up from like gardens, maintained landscapes. That's equal to 3,000 football fields.
Wow.
That's a lot of football fields.
That is.
And the horticulture folks there at Disney like plant 3 million plants a year. And this is one like you'll see overnight, especially during like Flower and Garden. They'll go through and replace everything that they have to.
It's amazing.
Overnight. And there's I can't remember if this is the 12% that Disney dedicated to keeping green basically or not building on and developing. Like so many times somebody will go, oh, Disney just bought some more land in Central Florida over in this area. They must be building something. No, they're usually buying that so they can build in all, areas already. Like, okay, beyond Big Thunder Mountain right now. Okay. They're going to build there, right? We're finally going to hopefully find out in August, at least during D23. That isn't going to, because of that, they can't take away that greenery and land. Let's just say that was, I don't know what acres look like. So let's just say that was 2 acres, 3 acres, whatever.
Yeah.
5 acres. If that was 5 acres worth and that was going to take them under their percentage, then they go buy 5 acres somewhere else so that they can develop that 5, basically is the way that it works, which is awesome. All right, let's move on to number 12. And we are a major part of this.
Disney visitors eat a ton of food.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking over the course of a year, 7 million hamburgers.
That's crazy.
Right? 500,000 pounds of mac and cheese, 1 million pounds of watermelon.
Ooh.
2 million pounds of ketchup.
Oh, that sounds about right.
350 chefs keep up with all of this. Demand. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a lot.
Hamburgers.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that like, I'm sure it's out there. I didn't look it up. Maybe it should have been on here, but like how many times in a day does a toilet flush?
Oh my gosh.
At Disney World.
I don't know.
I mean, if you think about in the rooms alone, there's 36,000 rooms. So if you were at mass occupancy, even if you were only at 50%, that'd be 18,000 flushes you would hope a day, and that'd only be one single person. If a family of 4 is doing their business every morning, you just keep multiplying that, and that's only the resorts.
And then
it's a lot of flushing.
And I think of like when Disney was shut down for this long too.
Yeah.
Like we knew cast members that literally at the resorts had to go in and flush the toilets just to make sure things were. So that's
make up that
crazy.
Morning. Yeah, we had somebody call out. We need you to come in. Oh, what do I get to do today? We're gonna need you to flush the toilets. All 36,000.
No.
Bill called out. Many. Bill called out. It's on you.
Bill called out.
It's on you.
That's funny.
If you were able to go, that would be a fun math problem. If you were able to go, if it took you, you had to walk into a room at a given resort, right?
Okay.
And go in, you have to flush the toilet. I would think you're waiting for maximum flushage to make sure that everything worked out okay. So you're not just flushing and darting, right? Because what if something was wrong and it backed up?
Okay.
Even though nobody's used it, everything was closed. So you're going to spend 2 to 3 minutes at least in each room, right?
Okay.
Before you move on to the next one. And then you flush that toilet, you wait. So think about that going through. That right there, there's like 2,000 rooms at Pop Century. So you're talking, if that took you 3 minutes, that's what, 6,000 minutes just to do.
How many minutes
Pop
are
Century?
in it?
That'd be, that math is easy, but I'm not going to do it. I mean, you're talking 6,000, divided by 60 minutes, that's 100 hours. So it would take you 4 days of nonstop flushing.
But that's just one person, so you probably have to get more cast members in there doing that.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my goodness.
What's our next one? We're at number 13. Here's another, again, interesting.
So it would take you 52 years to do the amount of laundry Disney World does in a single day.
I'd rather flush toilets.
I do too. Yeah. I would too.
I would much rather flush toilets. 285,000 pounds of laundry
a day.
But again, think of the amount of turnover every day in rooms where
some people just stay one night.
Right. But I mean, or again, just that rotation of people coming in and coming out
or
of 36,000 rooms. And you're obviously not turning over 36,000 every day, but even at a small percentage, you're turning over thousands of rooms every day. That all of that laundry specifically, that doesn't count costumes.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Think about all of the costumes. Like, it really is.
That's
nuts.
crazy. Yeah, because I think of like when we do go into a room and if it's we're upgraded and it's just 2 people and we're in a suite and like we use one bed. Well, what if there's like 3 other beds? Yeah. Like, what do they do when we're done? Do they, because somebody was in the room
in general,
or if it looks like they haven't touched it?
If someone in housekeeping listening or mousekeeping or just general housekeeping, yeah, let us know. I would assume that they're not going to make the assumption, because look at somebody like my brother who makes his bed every day.
I know. Exactly.
Somebody would come into, and he does it at hotel rooms. Somebody would come into a hotel room that my brother had checked out of, and they would not be able to determine which bed he slept in. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't just do the bed he slept in. I would assume you're turning over all.
That's what I would assume.
After every
which I'm like
checkout.
Sad because.
I mean, it's part of the reason that, they almost should have a lock on the bed, because they put the zip tie, the breakable zip tie, on your stuff in your closet. If you have extra for a pull-out bed, couch, one of the 5th sleepers, they'll know if you broke that seal or not. If you broke it, they know to wash it.
Right.
So there isn't that determination on the beds. So yeah, I would love to hear from somebody in housekeeping what the standard is. Same with towels. You got to think. You can walk in and go, all right, here's 4 towels that are stacked in the exact same position when these people checked in. Do those get replaced?
Because then you're literally just washing towels that were clean
towels. Because you have to assume they were unused. But what if you have some serial towel butt wiper guy that's his stick? He goes into hotel rooms, he takes the towels, he sits on them with his bare butt because he gets some sort of weird excitement out of it. He folds them back up perfectly and he puts it back. Think about that the next time you go to dry your face off at a hotel. So now I really would like to hear from somebody at housekeeping because I'm slightly worried.
Well,
is a towel clean after you use it or dirty?
Oh, Lord. If you wash correctly in the shower, it is clean. It's just wet.
Then why do you replace the towels?
Well, that's what it says in there to hang them up basically to dry.
But I'm saying like at home. How often do you replace a bath towel at home? You replace them because obviously they're still getting wet and they need to dry, and over time you need to replace
moldy.
them obviously.
They're not moldy, but they get But
I know people that use a different towel every single time.
Well, then they're not getting
This
clean.
was like a 30-minute conversation we had of all places at Jay Billis's house.
Oh my goodness! Because your brother used to do this.
Yes, I don't know if he still does. He used to use a different towel every time.
I don't think he does anymore.
But I can understand that because there's times that I might take a shower in the morning for some reason, and then I go to maybe take one that evening because just say we went to a park all day or I was doing stuff outside, and I'm like, I need to shower again before bed. I don't want to use that same towel from the morning because it's still slightly damp, so I'll get a new one at that point.
Okay, that's understandable. But if you take a shower daily, and it's dry.
Yeah, if it's within 24 hours and it's dry, then you're replacing it however couple days or whatever it is. But yeah, I would actually love to hear from a general housekeeping. I'm hoping they replace everything in case there's those serial butt guys.
Okay.
Speaking of butt guys, what about number 14? We got 2 left, and only one of them involves bathrooms
butts?
and stuff. Yeah. Involves butts.
Oh gosh. There are not any bathrooms in Liberty Square at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, you brought this up not long on episode for some reason. I forget what we were talking about, and you had said, well, yeah, there's no bathrooms in Liberty Square. So because they want to maintain that colonial time period, which did not have plumbed bathrams.
Correct.
They did their business in buckets and dumped them out on the street. That's why there is that flowing brown, paved looking stone, whatever.
Yeah, if you ever look down, that is supposed to resemble your
waist.
Yes, something like how do you say that nicely?
Proper way to put it. Now, because Columbia Harbor House and the Liberty Tree Tavern, they're not technically located within Liberty Square. So therefore, they do have bathrooms in them.
They do?
Yes.
Oh.
They do. But it's a loophole to get around that they don't. You know, the Liberty Bell there as well is made from the mold of the actual Liberty Bell in Philadelphia.
I don't think I knew that.
That's pretty cool too. Liberty Square, when you do like Keys to the Kingdom, we want to do it again.
We need to.
We need to find a time. I honestly was looking when we're there in 2 weeks, and nothing was available because you can book those 60 days out and they book up. Like if one came about that we could go with, I don't believe Mouth Dining does because it's not food related technically, even though you get lunch, but it's not a food based event.
Okay.
Or tour. And we could check with Chuck and Amy if they would want to, if we could find one. We could technically try and do one because it's like $100 for APs, and it was so fascinating. And
that's amazing.
Main Street in general, and Liberty Square are just fascinating. The details, and I can't remember them off the top of my. I remember there being so many details about the windows and the framing and all within Liberty Square, and like it's just fascinating. And all of the going down Main Street and all the names on the windows and how they tie back to the original purchase of the Florida project and the land, because
super
Walt
cool.
developed these fake companies basically to buy up land, so nobody knew it was Walt Disney buying it and would get an idea that, hey, he's bringing a theme park here. All the surrounding areas would just jack their land prices up. Knew.
Yep.
So they just thought it was all these different investors just buying swampland in Central Florida for God knows what reason. And there it was, Walt Disney with all these that was all under Roy, I'm sure. But so pretty interesting.
It is.
But you make your way to closest, we go right up there.
Tangled.
Do the Tangled bathrooms. If you're in that area, that's the best way. Or those are nice big bathrooms between Frontierland and Adventureland.
Oh, that's
that
right.
walk through by the sunglass shop.
Yep.
There on the right. So, all right, we've got one more, number 15. And if you want to be a part of this number, go to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote, because our travel services are completely free to you. What is our number 15th fun fact?
Walt Disney World is the most popular vacation resort in the world.
58 million visitors a year. Over 17 million specifically to Magic Kingdom, and that was as of 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, because Magic Kingdom is the most visited amusement park in the world.
Yeah.
And some days it feels like all 17 million are there.
Yes,
So
it does.
You got to be prepared for that.
Yes, it does.
But this was fun, and maybe this will get you pumped and excited, because there will be things that'll be similar to this on our parks trivia when we do the trivia contest to benefit Give Kids the World. If you're in the area, Central Florida, it will be at Malia Orlando at the Backyard on Friday, May 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to have parks trivia. We're
not May 26th. April 26th.
April 26th. I'm so sorry.
I'm like, wait,
I'm already
May.
getting into May.
I'm like, we'll be on the cruise.
Yeah, I was thinking about May this morning
before.
for some reason. April 26th, folks. We will have parks trivia. We're going to have Disney history trivia, really cool audio trivia. We're going to do Marvel, and we're going to do Star Wars. So come out to that if you can. Again, $25 goes all to Give Kids the World. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, everything else at mainstreet16.com. Team registration is now closed, but there's still other ways to donate, to get involved.
Yes.
Of course, as we mentioned, plan that next trip, get a free quote, free travel services from mainstmagictravel.com. And of course, we'd be super thankful if you subscribed, get these brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you could please leave us a rating and review,
because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.